Genoa is a city and the capital of the Italian region of Liguria and the sixth largest city in Italy. On the Gulf of Genoa in the Ligurian Sea, Genoa has historically been one of the most important ports in the Mediterranean. It is currently the busiest in Italy and the Mediterranean and the 12th busiest in the European Union. Genoa was the capital of one of the most powerful maritime republics for more than 7 centuries, from the 11th century to 1797. Especially from the 12th to the 15th century, the city played a leading role in commercial trade in Europe, becoming one of the greatest maritime powers on the continent and considered among the richest cities in the world. The city has hosted huge shipyards and steel mills since the 19th century, and its solid financial sector dates back to the Middle Ages. St. George's Bank, founded in 1407, is the oldest known state depository bank in the world and has played an important role in the city's prosperity since the mid-15th century. Piazza de' Ferrari is the main square of Genoa. Located in the heart of the city between the historic and modern center, Piazza de' Ferrari is famous for its fountain, which has been restored in recent years along with a major restyling of the square. Today, next to Piazza Ferrari, there are numerous office buildings, headquarters of banks, insurance companies and other private companies, making this district the financial and business center of Genoa, so the Genoese people popularly call it the City of Genoa. The square, dedicated to the Italian banker and politician Raffaello de Ferrari, Duke of Galliera, has an irregular shape due to urban planning works that united 2 different urban environments. The area is about 11,000 square meters. At the end of the 19th century, Genoa was, along with Milan, the main financial center of Italy. And Piazza de' Ferrari was the place where many institutions were founded, such as the Stock Exchange, Credito Italiano, a branch of the Bank of Italy, founded in 1893. The Cathedral of Genoa or the Metropolitan Cathedral of St. Lawrence is a Roman Catholic cathedral in the Italian city of Genoa. It is dedicated to St. Lawrence, and is the seat of the Archbishop of Genoa. The secondary naves and side covers are Romanesque, and the main facade is Gothic from the early 13th century, while the capitals and columns with internal corridors date from the early 14th century. The city's rich cultural history and art, music and cuisine made it possible to become the European Capital of Culture in 2004. It is the birthplace of Guglielmo Ambriaco, Christopher Columbus, Andrea Doria, Niccolo Paganini, Giuseppe Mazzini, Renzo Piano, and Grimaldo Canella, founder of the House of Grimaldi, among others. Ever since the late Middle Ages, art in Genoa had been strongly influenced by the so-called four-story foreigners, a term that could apply just as well to an Italian outside the Republic as to someone outside Italy entirely. Local artists absorbed the styles of foresters and over time synthesized them into something recognizable Genoese. The Genoa Book Fair takes place every year for more than 3 weeks in Piazza Mattiati, in front of the Palazzo Ducale. It is a very popular event among Genoese people, since 1926. In addition to old and or rare books, you can find graphics, engravings, but also vinyls or comics. The historic center of Genoa, also known as the Old Town, is one of the largest and most densely populated in Europe. Part of it was also inscribed on the World Heritage List, UNESCO, in 2006 as Genoa, La Strada Nuove and the Palisade dei Ralli system. Genoa is also home to the University of Genoa, which has a history dating back to the 15th century. Via Giuseppe Garibaldi is a street in the historic center of Genoa, famous for its ancient palaces. It is one of the new streets in Via Strada built by the Genoese aristocracy during the Renaissance. Since July 2006, it has been inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List of Genoa, Strada Nuove and the Palisade dei Ralli system. Between the first half of the 16th century and the first half of the 17th century, the nobility of the Republic of Genoa began careful city planning to transform the existing medieval city and initiate significant urban expansion to the north. The move to expand the ancient palaces and build lavish new ones was fueled by the extraordinary wealth that came to the city through the prosperous financing activities of several European powers. The ruling class of Genoa, mixing nobility of blood with new mercantile wealth, strove to bolster its prestige by building great city palaces and suburban villas of unusual splendor. The construction of the entire group of buildings lasted about 40 years, and the very rich Grimaldi family, which acquired the largest area, is responsible for the realization of the project. The most infamous part of the city was transformed into the most privileged, and from the construction point of view, for the first time, the construction problems related to the construction of such a complex of buildings on the coast, above the port, were solved. Via Garibaldi is one of the main streets of Genoa and one of the largest in the entire historic center from an architectural point of view due to the magnificent influence of its buildings, some of which are included in the corresponding Raleigh. The Christopher Columbus House in Genoa, Italy is a reconstruction of the 18th century house where Christopher Columbus grew up. The house is located outside the walls of Genoa from the 14th century. During the Renaissance, this area became the subject of intensive construction, mostly consisting of public housing. Columbus was born in 1451, and historical documents indicate that Columbus lived here between 1455 and 1470. At that time the house had 2 or maybe 3 floors, with a shop on the ground floor and the front door to the left of the shops. In the garden behind Casa di Colombo is the cloister of S. Andrea, which was rebuilt here after the demolition, in 1904, of the Benedictine monastery of the same name, of which it was a part. The Porta Soprano was the gateway to the city for anyone arriving in Genoa from the east. It dominated the hill of St. Andrew, which took its name from the monastery demolished in the 19th century to build Via Dante and the building that currently houses the Bank of Italy. The 2 towers that frame the approach to the Porta Soprano still bear 2 tombstones in Latin commemorating the glory of Genoa. One of them, on the left side of the entrance, addressing whoever is about to enter, says among other things, "I am guarded by soldiers, surrounded by beautiful walls, and with my worth, I repel the arrows of the enemy. You can approach this gate. If you seek war, you will return sad and slain." Pesto, or more fully pesto alla Genovese, is a paste made from crushed garlic, pine nuts, salt, basil leaves, grated cheese such as Parmesan or Pecorino Sardo, and olive oil. The introduction of basil, the main ingredient in modern pesto, is more recent and was first documented only in the 1850s. Emanuele Rossi published La Vera Cuciniera Genovese in 1852, and gastronome Giovanni Battista Rotto published La Cuciniera Genovese in 1863. Focaccia, a traditional Italian bread with many variations. The forerunner of pizza, focaccia is one of the oldest Italian breads. It is considered to be descended from the Etruscans. The historic center of Genoa is also known for its narrow alleys and streets that the locals call Correggi. The name Correggio, translated into English as alley, probably comes from the word quadrivium in Latin, the intersection of four roads like the numerous maze of city streets, or it comes from carriage in French. Regardless of the origin of the word, these narrow streets represent the heart of the city. In their complexity, they form a historical center, since it is about 113 hectares of roads that make Genoa one of the most interesting medieval cities in Europe. Its shape was defined between the year 1300, when a group of families who became rich in maritime trade, built high walls and an internal arsenal to protect the city. The flag of Genoa is St. George's Cross, a red cross on a white field. The patron saint of Genoa was St. Lawrence until at least 958, but the Genoese transferred their allegiance to St. George, and St. John the Baptist, at some point during the 11th or 12th century, most likely with the rise in popularity of the military saint during the Crusades. The Bigo is a panoramic lift located in the Porto Antico area near the Genoa Aquarium. Designed by the architect Renzo Piano, it offers an extraordinary aerial perspective of one of the largest and richest historical centers in Europe. The elevator cabin takes you 40 meters high and rotates 360 degrees, giving you a wide view of the harbor and the city. It is equipped with photographic panels and a multilingual audio system, Italian, English, French and German, that talk about the beauties of Genoa. The comments are accompanied by pleasant music in the background. Nazario Soro S518 is as of today the only Italian submarine that can be visited on the water. It was built in 1976 by Fincantieri for the Italian Navy and decommissioned in 2002. The sound of crew voices, engines, sonar, radar and torpedo launchers accompany the visitor in an exciting experience. The Old Harbor, Porto Antico in Italian, is the ancient part of the port of Genoa. The harbor gave access to outside communities, creating a good geographical situation for the city. The city is spread out geographically along a section of the Liguria coast, which makes trading by ship possible. Renzo Piano redeveloped the area for public access, restoring the historical buildings, like the cotton warehouses, and creating new landmarks like the aquarium, the Bigo, and recently the Bola, the Sphere. The main tourist attractions of this area are the famous aquarium and the Museum of the Sea. In 2007, these attracted almost 1.7 million visitors. So the Ligurian industry has turned towards a widely diversified range of high-quality and high-tech products: food, shipbuilding, electrical engineering and electronics, petrochemicals, aerospace. Nevertheless, the regions still maintain a flourishing shipbuilding sector, yacht construction and maintenance, cruise liner building, military shipyards. A good motorway network of 376 kilometers in 2000 makes communications with the border regions relatively easy. The port of Genoa, with a trade volume of 58.6 million tons, ranks first in Italy, second in terms of 20-foot equivalent units after the transshipment port of Gioia Tauro, with a trade volume of over 2 million TEUs. The main destinations for the cargo passenger traffic are Sicily, Sardinia, Corsica, Barcelona, and the Canary Islands.